All right, let's dive into one of the most famous chapters in the entire Bible, Matthew 28. Now, it's a story most of us think we know, right? The empty tomb, the angels. But what if I told you it was designed to be, well, completely culture-shattering for the people who first heard it? Today, we're going to peel back those layers. Okay, so let's get right to the heart of it. This quote really sets the stage. See, this chapter isn't just about something that happened a long, long time ago. It's about a total rewrite of the rules of reality itself. It's about a new kind of possibility. All right, first up, a quick recap. I know, you probably know this story, right? But just seeing the events laid out one after another really highlights how fast and how absolutely dramatic this one single morning was.
So yeah, you've got everything from an empty tomb at dawn to a secret meeting on a mountain. It's all there. Shock, joy, even a conspiracy. But like I said, this is just the surface level. The real juice, the real power, is what's going on underneath all this.
And that's where we're going next. To really get why this story was so radical, we gotta put ourselves in the shoes of the people who heard it first. This wasn't just some surprising news report. For many, it was a direct challenge to pretty much everything they understood about the world. You have to remember, Matthew's writing this for Jewish Christians who were, well, they were in a really tough spot. Their Messiah had been crucified. From the outside, it looked like a total failure. So Matthew isn't just writing history here. He's writing to give them hope, to prove that this wasn't the end, but the very beginning of something incredible. And here is the first massive culture shock. In the first century, a woman's testimony wasn't just considered unreliable. In a court of law, it was basically inadmissible, worthless. And who does God pick to be the very first messengers of the biggest news in history? Women. That is not an accident. It's a deliberate, powerful statement that turns the whole social structure on its head. Okay, this is where it gets really, really cool. We're going to look at the original Greek because there are these little details, these specific words that are absolutely packed with meaning that just doesn't quite make it into our English translations. Take the earthquake, for example. The Greek word is seismos. Now, here's the thing. Matthew uses that exact same word for the earthquake that happens when Jesus dies on the cross. It's like creation itself is physically reacting, first in agony at its creator's death, and now in triumph at his resurrection. The ground itself is telling the story. And then there's this word, proskuneo. It's what the women do when they see Jesus. In English, we translate it as worship, but this was way more than just showing respect. This was the kind of bowing down you only did for God himself. For them to do this in front of a man, a recently executed man, was an absolutely scandalous claim. They were saying, this man is God. Even the grammar tells a story here. When the angel says, he has risen, the Greek verb tense used, ergerthai, is super specific. It doesn't just mean he woke up. It means he was raised and he continues to be in that risen state. It's a permanent, ongoing victory, not just a temporary revival. So, with all this power and cosmic significance established, Jesus gives his followers their final instructions. You've probably heard of it. The Great Commission. Everything we've just talked about, the earthquake, the worship, the permanent victory, it's all the fuel for what comes next. But before he tells them what to do, he tells them why they can do it. He says, all authority has been given to me. This is so important. He's not just sending them out with some good advice or a nice philosophy. He's sending them out with his own total, universe-spanning authority. And these marching orders, they completely change the game. It's not about waiting for people to come to one specific place anymore. Now, the instruction is go. And go where? To all nations. The Greek is panta ta ethne, which means every single people group. The story just went from local to global overnight. And check this out, another tiny but huge detail in the Greek. He tells them to baptize in the name, singular, of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. The word is onoma, not names, plural. It's one of the clearest, most direct statements of the Trinity you'll find anywhere in the New Testament. One God, three persons, one name. So the chapter doesn't just wrap up with a neat little bow. Instead, it ends with this huge promise and a huge puzzle. A tension that, honestly, we still feel and live in today. And that puzzle is this. Jesus promises to be with his followers all the days, right? To the very end of the age. So if that's true, why does the world still feel so broken?
Why is there still so much pain and injustice? It's a question a lot of us ask.
Well, theologians have a term for this, the already but not yet. Think of it like this. The war has been won. The decisive victory is secured. That's the already of the resurrection. But the final peace treaty hasn't been signed and enforced everywhere yet. That's the not yet. And we're living in that overlap. And you know what's so encouraging about all this? Matthew slips in this little detail. Even as the disciples were on that mountain, worshiping the risen Jesus, some doubted. Right there in that moment. It's an incredible reminder that you don't need perfect, doubt-free faith to be part of the mission. Jesus entrusts this world-changing task to real, imperfect, questioning people. People just like us. Which brings us to the ultimate takeaway. The resurrection isn't just about what happens after we die. It's not some future escape hatch. It's about changing life before death. It's about living right now, today, with the incredible confidence and hope that comes from knowing how the story ultimately ends.
So I'll leave you with this question to think about. If you truly believe you know the ending of the story, that victory is guaranteed, how does that change the way you live the chapter you're in right now? How does it affect your purpose, your courage, and your perspective today?